Good morning, guys. We are out here on a leak repair call. We're going to be installing a reversing valve and an accumulator in this old 14-year-old heat pump. Customer wanted to do what was cheapest to get them by, which not by much, but doing this repair was slightly cheaper than replacing the unit, so they opted to go with the repair. Obviously, we cautioned them on all the typical stuff when you're dealing with a really old system, but they wanted to go ahead and take care of it, so that's what we're going to do today. Got the system recovering now. Not exactly sure how I'm going to attack this one. Typically I unsweat the condenser coil, but on this particular model, I'm not sure. I might be able to get away with just pulling this panel off the side and pulling the top off, but we'll see. But here's our reversing valve, and behind it is our rusty old accumulator. Our reversing valve is what's leaking. You might be able to see the oil all over it. And our accumulator isn't leaking, but it's in pretty crap condition, so might as well get it out of there while we're doing this sort of repair. But that's the game plan. So like I said, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to attack it yet, but once I get this refrigerant out, or while it's recovering, I'm going to go ahead and start breaking the unit apart, get the top off of it, and see what's going to be the best way for me to attack this thing. So stay tuned and I'll show you what the game plan is. Alright guys, so I got everything broken down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take the condenser coil off. It's what I usually do when I change reversing valves. It just makes it a hell of a lot easier to access everything. I know some guys say it's unnecessary work, but it's really not. One solder joint, another solder joint, and the whole damn coil comes out. Super simple. But yeah, once that comes out, that'll give me full access to this side of the valve and make it a lot easier. Plus, since I'm changing the reversing valve, I got that U-bend right there. It'll make it a lot easier to unsweat from the original valve, and yeah, just make it simpler for me. So if it takes unsweating 2 more solder joints, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and unsweat this coil, get it out the way, and we will start taking this reversing valve out. Simple as that, guys. The little screw-in foot down there
was completely rusted out on that accumulator, so I had to basically stand on the side of it while I unsweat the fittings, but everything came out. Everything's good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and move all this stuff. I'm gonna tape up these lines, and I'm gonna clean the rest of the mess out of the bottom of this while I have it all broken down and the coil out, and then we'll go ahead and start reassembling. Alright guys, we got our valve back in, our accumulator brazed in, all that good stuff. We're using the Viper wet rag heat blocking putty by Refrigeration Technologies. Been using the stuff for over 2 years now. Great stuff. There's all kinds of other products on the market that I'm sure work great, but Viper has worked wonderful for me for several years now, and I'm going to continue to use what works. But kept everything nice and cool, didn't damage any paint. You can see it cleans up nicely. If you leave some on the pipe, it's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt anything whatsoever. But yeah, we're moving right along. I'm going to go ahead and get ready to put this condenser coil back on. But as you can hopefully see, it's pretty funky. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little cleaning, tape up those fittings, and I'll just have those fittings facing down, just tape them up just for precautionary, and go ahead and hose this thing down. But as you can see, I am running out of shade quick and in a hurry, so I'm going to go ahead and carry on, get this thing knocked out. Well, we got everything on a pressure test now, coils in, all that good stuff. We are holding at tree fitty, and yeah, soap bubbled everything with some Big Blue just to make sure all my solder joints are looking good. So far so good, no leaks, everything's holding. So I'm gonna let it hold for another 10 minutes or so. I'm gonna swap that dryer out. We're about 25 or 30 miles off the coast, so you can see these dryers fare a lot better than anything probably 10 miles from the coast inward. So I'm gonna go ahead and just replace the dryer outside, and just as precautionary, I'm gonna go ahead and paint it once I finish putting it in, just to make sure that it doesn't corrode. Although this being 14 years old, I'm sure that the dryer, even if it is rusted and burnt up, is probably going to outlast this unit, especially with that junky Bristol 2-stage. But that is not my decision to make. I do what the customer wants, so that's what we're doing. But I'm going to let it hold for a few more minutes, and I'm going to swap out that dryer. Probably going to hose this out because I got it covered in soap bubbles. So I'm probably going to end up hosing this thing out before I put everything back together. But so far so good, but I'm going to keep on rolling because I am running out of shade really quickly. Alright guys, we've got her on a vacuum. We've had her on a vacuum now for about an hour. Went ahead and secured all my wires. Put everything back together. You see I'm out of shade now, so I had to throw up the artificial. But coming along nicely. You can see 318 the VP85 out here. Like I said, it's been on a vacuum now for about an hour or so. It's funny, I got a ton of comments about me painting filter dryers. It's just something that a lot of people do in this area and coastal areas in general, but I was surprised how many comments I got. So I went ahead and went the extra mile for you guys this time. I took a piece of DC 181 tape and put over my label. Then I painted it, and then I peeled that off just for you guys. Look at that. Beautiful. Me personally, I like to take pride in my work. So if you don't, so be it. But there's 300 heating and air conditioning companies in this area, and I want to do whatever I can to stand out from the rest. So I choose to go the extra mile, take the extra 5 minutes to do stuff, because it pays off in the long run. Fills my wallet nicely. So you keep doing you, and I'll keep doing me. But that's for you guys, so comment away. But anyways, everything's all buttoned up. I'm about to pull a decay test on this thing and get her charged up, fire her back up, and get this house cooling again. Alright guys, she lives again. Everything's up and running, cooling. Our numbers are kind of all over the place right now. Keep in mind it's 97 degrees in this area where this unit cools. 97 degrees, the attic's 150 right now. So my numbers are kind of all over the place. I'm not too concerned. My expansion valve is wide open right now, so I'm gonna take these numbers with a grain of salt at this point. But what I'll end up doing is we'll let the system run and cool down over the afternoon, evening, and tonight we'll have myself or somebody else swing back by tomorrow, just double check the numbers, dial in the refrigerant charge if needed. I got the factory charge weighed in, plus about 1.5 pounds for the line set, which it's really 11.5 pounds, but when I moved the scale, it altered my numbers a little bit, but got 11.5 pounds of 410A. So everything is running the way it should now. But like I said, we'll come back tomorrow and just double check these numbers. But yeah, everything's working, good to go. So I'm gonna pack up all my stuff and get up out of here and go somewhere nice and cool for lunch. But appreciate all the support, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the VP85 review. I got a lot of other stuff coming down the pipe. Got another, instead of smart probes, we'll just call it a system analyzer that I'll be reviewing here in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. But thanks again, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.